There is nothing to see here. Other than Joe Biden, according to a Senate report, allowed his family to enrich themselves while he was vice president. Other than the fact that there seems to be a connection between Hunter Biden and a sex trafficking ring. Other than the fact that it looks like Hunter Biden took $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow, not Idaho, the mayor's wife, the ex-mayor of Moscow, $3.5 million. But other than that, there is nothing to see here.
Nothing.
Jason Buttrill joins us now. Jason,
Yes.
welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You are the guy who was instrumental in uncovering all of the stuff that we found in Ukraine. You're our chief researcher. Tell me this Senate Homeland Security report. Why should I believe it? Why is this not just another, kind of slam like they did on Donald Trump?
This potentially is huge, and especially for, actually what everyone needs to do tonight is rewatch our Ukraine special, is our final one called The Final Piece. Rewatch that. In that show, we showed a Latvian document that their financial crimes unit had.
Yeah.
And it showed that there was money going from Burisma through their, incredibly credible bank in Cyprus.
All credible banks are in Cyprus. All of them. Yeah. Swiss, sure. But the real money's in Cyprus. If you want it safe, you bet.
So the money went from Cyprus, and then it went to a bank in Latvia, and a lot of money laundering schemes go through these weird little banks in Latvia, and then from Latvia, they go off into the ether. Mm-hmm. Well, one of these transactions, the Latvian crimes unit found, went to Hunter Biden and Devin Archer. Mm-hmm. So like, hey, we just want to let you guys know that there's this, it kind of looks like money laundering to us, and the money was tagged how money laundering is usually tagged: payments for loan agreements. And we go through in that show back then all these times when that is used when Burisma was laundering money. Now, you just mentioned that payment from that Moscow mayor, and so she's an interesting chick. She was...
You say that with all the love and respect the chicks deserve. Yeah. You know what I mean? Thank you for that. All right.
She is the richest woman in Russia. She got that way because while her husband was mayor, he just happened to give her all the contracts for her business. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to give the contracts to the competing ones, just my wife. So she became...
That works well.
It was, very,
It's
very...
almost like Joe Biden with his brother and the contracts, the no-bid contracts that he got in the Middle East.
Right. What, 4 different family members? Or is it 5?
That's it. That's it. Okay.
So she's the richest woman in Russia. She also was in another scandal from the head of a Russian bank. He was indicted for corruption because he gave hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to shell companies for money laundering. Like around 300 million of this went to this woman. Now, all that to set up this, and see if this sounds familiar, this money that went to Hunter Biden, it first went to a bank in the United States. It sat there for a little bit. Then it went to Hunter Biden and Rosemont Seneca, his firm. Can you take a guess what it was labeled as?
Something to do with loan payments?
Payments for loan agreements. Okay, so this was hinted at in this Senate report. Now, this is key, and this is why it's going to be so interesting going forward. They didn't do anything else to describe it. They just put the breadcrumbs out. Now, I actually have a source that says a lot of this is it's on a tier of when it's going to be released. I think this was
a source I know.
This is a source you know.
Yeah, okay. So this is a good source. So you know this is a really, really credible source.
Is it Donald Trump?
No.
Not Rudy Giuliani.
Okay. Yeah. So I believe this is the first salvo. I think they're just teeing it up. The real interesting stuff is what we said. We said, hey, if they look into these transactions, these payments for loan agreements, they're going to find that's the money trail to blow the lid off of everything. So the sex trafficking thing is interesting. It's not surprising with Hunter Biden. It's not like, this is not something we probably wouldn't expect.
I don't know. I mean, there's one thing about having a baby with a stripper and then being a sugar daddy in a sex ring.
Yeah.
I mean, because this is a This is a sex ring, right? This is not consenting adults.
Right.
Right?
I think it's something they could explain away, though. It was like, Hunter was getting more hookers, that's just kind of his thing. I don't know. Like maybe he didn't know, ultimately that they were there against
How much
their will.
money was going to the sex ring?
I don't remember if they disclosed all that money. They might have. It was nowhere near the amount of money that was like implicated in this what I believe is the laundering scheme. Now they didn't mention laundering at all in the Senate report, and that's what I thought was so interesting. They didn't give hardly any details on that at all. They just said, this amount of money went through this bank and went to Hunter Biden. This amount of money, I think it was 11 transactions in total from this Russian woman. It's the way they describe it is exactly how all the money laundering through Burisma, Cyprus, all those. And remember, there is an insane amount of USAID cash that went to this bank in Cyprus. An insane amount.
Insane amount. What was it? $3 billion?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah,
but it
was either $3 or $8 billion. I mean, it was a lot of money.
It would fund a war.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's gone. It's just gone.
Yeah.
So, the mayor's wife. Do we have any idea why that money came from her in Moscow?
This is where we start theory crafting on this because we don't know, and they haven't given any other. They haven't given any other hints. So it's possible, and again, we're just theorizing here, that she could have been a recipient of some of the cash that came from USAID, went to Ukraine, and then remember we tracked it. It then went all over the world, and we couldn't find it. No one can find. They're trying to track these funds down, but it very well could have gone to one of her companies. Remember, she's implicated in this corruption scheme in Moscow for getting large amounts of money from the Russian central bank to give out to shell companies. So that would be her job then, as kind of like this middleman to help filter down some of this money to launder it, to make it clean.
Why would Burisma, who the big guy there, hates Moscow, hates the Russians, where is the connection to Russian from Ukraine? They used to be on the friendly side, but they're not now.
Yeah, well, the people. So the way Russia kind of works is it's. Wait a minute.
I stand corrected. This was happening while Obama was still in office, right?
When these payments were happening?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were not friendly to Russia at that time.
They were not friendly.
No, okay, yeah.
But even still, there's the allegiances there in Russia. There's a few, demagogues and are all about the Russian state. Everybody else is just looking to cash. Yeah, divvy everything up, split everything, get up as much money as they can.
That's what's really tragic about what's going on. I feel like what's happening right now is just the show. They're just finishing up the show, but behind the scenes, they're counting and divvying the spoils. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like those people in real power, they know what's coming, and there's going to be a little revolution in them, but we're going to reset it. Now, what do you want? What part do you want? How much are you going to get? It really is. It feels to me like this is what's going on right now. They're just divvying the spoils because those who know about this, those who are on the Soros ship, if you will, those people will be fine. They're going to get all this money, and nobody's going to be asking anything about it.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to do anything towards Hunter Biden, I think, on this, because if they follow the breadcrumbs like I think that they are doing right now, laundered money is very hard to track to its finality. They could say, look, this came from this very suspicious person and it went to Hunter Biden. I'm sure that the Biden camp are really hoping that it just looks suspicious and they don't ever find the eventual endpoint. But, I mean, if they do, and it's possibly they have, but if they do, this is going to be explosive. Very explosive.
Don't think so. Don't think anybody's going to. You know what? Used to have hope. Donald Trump expressed some anger this week with the Democrats and with the Justice Department, saying, "Where is anything? Why aren't you coming up with anything? Why don't I have an answer?"
Yeah.
And it bothers me that here we are on top of this election, because you reveal all of this stuff now. This doesn't matter now because no one will believe it because it's an election. You know what I mean? So you either hold it until after the election, which if the other side wins, it's never coming out. No one in the deep state is ever going to pay for this. And that can't happen in a republic.